Let's start with a quick disclaimer. If it wasn't already obvious, this isn't one of our normal videos. AutelOnline.com sent us this scanner, so that does make this a sponsored video. Normally we'll turn down sponsorship offers, but this one was honestly just too generous. This is a $600 scan tool, but we wouldn't have accepted this offer without complete creative freedom. This isn't exactly a review, and it's definitely not a fluffy advertisement to make something look good. In this video we'll provide information about the tool as well as offering an honest opinion. Of course, pretty much everything in this video should have a little asterisk since we didn't actually pay for the tool. This is an open and honest look at the tool without a corporate spokesperson breathing on our necks. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and see what we've got. In the box you get the MK808TS tablet and the Bluetooth OBD2 receiver along with the usual accessories you'd expect to see. The case it's in is actually really nice, although they did go for the blow molded hinge, which is a bit unfortunate because that will have a very finite lifespan. But even without the case, the scanner does feel nice and sturdy. The scan tool itself really is just a rugged touchscreen tablet running Android. The first time you turn it on, it'll have you log into an Autel account and download a whole bunch of updates. The software seems to be updated very frequently. Unfortunately, with these devices, only the first year of updates are free. After that, there is a subscription fee and the price is fairly significant. But let's go ahead and talk about the software. Pretty much everything happens through this Maxicom app. We'll start by diving right into the diagnostics menu. This software seems to support pretty much every automobile manufacturer. What seems to me like the most useful button is this little blue one in the corner. With the Bluetooth scanner plugged into the OBD2 port of the vehicle, the software will attempt to automatically retrieve the VIN of the vehicle, and once it has that, it'll usually ask a few questions and then throw you right into the diagnostic menus for that manufacturer. From there, we have two options. By selecting Auto Scan, it'll run through all the modules on the vehicle and look for fault codes. Depending on the vehicle, this can take a while, but it's really nice to have all that information in one spot. Once the scanning is done, let's look closer at some of these faults. In this case, this module is showing errors for the TPMS sensors, which is not surprising considering the vehicle doesn't have any sensors installed. We'll go back to the Auto Scan menu and have a look at the engine fault codes. It's showing two emissions-related fault codes. A pretty cool feature is this search button down in the corner. Pressing that searches Google for that trouble code. The web browser on the tablet does work, although it's a little bit slow. It will play YouTube videos, although in a fairly low resolution, and the tablet doesn't have any speakers, so audio is out of the question. Also, sometimes the web browsers just get a little weird. Back in the diagnostic software, we'll select live data and see where this scan tool really shines. As far as I can tell, on every vehicle I've tested this scanner on, it will show every piece of data from every module. The software also provides several ways to show this data, including graphs. For some fault codes in some vehicles, you're able to view freeze frame data, which is sort of a black box recording of all the data at the time when that fault code occurred. And by using this record button on the live data screens, you're able to save detailed logs of this information. This is simultaneously one of the most useful features on the scan tool and one of the most frustrating. The problem is the recording only saves the data points that were on the screen at the time of recording. These data points can be reordered so you can choose exactly the ones you want, but that still means a recording is limited to around 8 sensors worth of data at any one time. It's definitely not a deal breaker, and as long as you know that limitation you can work around it, but it is definitely unfortunate. When selecting a vehicle, there's also this history menu, which lets you look at logs from a previous vehicle or start diagnosing it with one button press. Along with that record function, the device makes it very easy to save screenshots or even some PDF printouts. Despite being pretty user-friendly, there is a lot going on with this scan tool. Looking at the service menu on the software, we can see some additional options. In this video, we're just barely scratching the surface of all the features this tool has to offer. Options like ABS bleed and TPMS reprogramming are becoming more and more important with newer vehicles. Unfortunately, something not present in the Autel MK808 scanners is full bidirectional control. It takes a scanner that costs a few $100s more to get those features, and that ends up placing the MK808TS in a bit of an awkward position. It's expensive enough that it's not going to be replacing the $15 code reader that should be in everybody's toolbox, but too inexpensive to have some of the really advanced and useful features like bidirectional control. But overall, this is a really nice scanner, and I swear we're not just saying that because we didn't have to buy it. Out of curiosity, we went ahead and actually took the thing apart. The construction is very reminiscent of a laptop. There wasn't a particular goal in taking it apart, it's just something that always seems to happen. To my untrained eye, this scanner seems to be extremely well put together. My only real concern with the construction is that the assembly isn't actually sealed. I would definitely try to keep this in a clean and dry area. It would also be best to not use this thing with oily hands, as sooner or later that rubber overmolding on the handles will definitely start to deteriorate. We even took apart the Bluetooth transmitter. It's definitely interesting seeing how this is all put together. As far as the software goes, it does seem really well thought out and is easy to use. Through my use and a little bit of abuse of this scanner, there were 2 occasions where we seemed to encounter bugs with the software. One time the software menu stopped responding and we kinda got stuck in limbo until we exited the program and restarted it. The other issue was a hard crash that occurred when using the record button to log data, but at least all it took was power cycling the device to get everything working again. To conclude, this seems like a great tool at a decent price compared to the competition. It'll do a heck of a lot more than a cheap scanner, but it's also not quite a replacement for the higher end ones. But as far as scan tools in its price range go, it seems like a good option. And a thank you to AutelOnline.com for sending us this item.